Hey guys, this is Slicknick Gaming and welcome back to the 2025 September Spectacular Double Trouble Amiibo Tournament. And now it is time for the Sweet 16. We started this tournament with 34 teams of Amiibo, and since then the competition has been cut in half. And now we just have 16 teams remaining, the Sweet 16. Now before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce the remaining teams. We have the Distant Relatives with Ike and Marth. They'll be taking on Father and Son, featuring Bowser and Bowser Jr. Then we have the Music Men with Roy and Ludwig. I'm sorry you can't see it, there's a skylight above me. They'll be taking on the Hyrule Heroes, Link and Zelda. And then we have the Koopa Twins, Lemmy and Iggy. They'll be taking on PSI Power, Lucas and Ness. And then we have the Bad Bros, featuring WarioWare and the Mario Party series Wario. They'll be taking on We Two Kings, featuring King DDD and King K. Rool. And then we have the Pokemon Pals, Pikachu and Jigglypuff. They'll be taking on the Paint the Town, featuring Inkling Girl and Inkling Boy. And then we have the Twin Princesses, Peach and Daisy. They'll be taking on Rosalina and Samus, the Space Girls. That should be an interesting match. And then we have the Honeymooners, featuring the Wedding Mario and Wedding Peach. They'll be taking on Toys in the Attic with Olimar and Toy Link. And for our final matchup, we will have the Wedding Crashers with Wedding Bowser and Wolf. They'll be taking on Star Fox with Fox and Falco. Alright, so those are your matches for today. A reminder, this is the Sweet 16, the second round of the tournament. The winners of these matches will move on to the Elite 8, which will be taking place tomorrow. Alright, so our first match is going to be the Distant Relatives versus Father and Son. Coming at ya. Alright, here we go. The first match of the Sweet 16. So, from what I remember correctly, neither one of these teams made it past the first round last year. Also, if you see the floor looks different, yeah, that's because I got new carpet since the last tournament. The carpets in this room and I think the room next to it both were both replaced because they were old and they were torn up and they had stains on them. So it had to be replaced, and I'm kind of glad it did. Looks like Ike is out first. I named my Ike Amiibo Eisenhower after the president, Ike Eisenhower. Actually, his name is Dwight David Eisenhower, but he went by the nickname Ike for some reason. Junior gets spiked into the lava. Or as I named him, Junior. It's a reference to Indiana Jones. Bowser falls to his death. I nicknamed him King Koopa because that was his nickname in the cartoons. If any of you remember those cartoons from the 90s, you'll know which ones I'm talking about. Bowser almost died again, but he manages to get Marth. It looks like Marth and Ike are down to their last stocks now. This is actually the first time in a game where Marth actually speaks English. I want to say before that, all of his dialogue was in Japanese, even in the American versions. They finally recorded his dialogue in English. Anyways, everybody has one stock now. Everybody's playing it dangerous down there on the bottom platform. And of course it costs Bowser. Jr. is all by himself. Yup, gets spiked into the ground. And we have your winners. Distant relatives will be moving on to the Elite Eight. And father and son are eliminated after some very risky plays that did not come through for them. Okay, so the distant relatives will be moving on. Father and son, thank you for playing. We'll see you next year. Next, we have the Music Men versus the Heroes of Hyrule. After this short break. Alright, now for the second matchup of the day. We have the Music Men and the the Heroes of Hyrule. I believe that's their title. Let me go ahead and look again. Yep, the Heroes of Hyrule. And the winner of this will be taking on the distant relatives in the Elite Eight. Stretching. I really should have done this before the take. Before the recording, I should have said. Okay. So it looks like we're on the Town and City stage. A much safer stage compared to the last one. Which I believe was called Brinstar Depths. And down goes Roy. He's down to his second stock. I almost said his first stock. That would be pretty weird. Got Chaos Control. I wish Lauren was here right now. She'd be flipping out. Man, my girlfriend Lauren is nuts about Shadow. Roy's down to his last stock already, I just noticed. But Ludwig still has all three. And Ludwig takes a huge heal. And now he's right back where he was at the beginning. And even if Roy dies here, Ludwig has 2 extra stocks to back him up. Case in point. And Ludwig down to his last. Oh my god. This is crazy. This is a really crazy match. I can't wait to see who wins this. Sorry, I'm just clicking around on my computer. I'm actually in the process of... my mom told me that she wanted all of the Family's Home videos to be digitized. And I'm doing that while I'm also doing this tournament. So I'm copying files from the flash drive over to the computer to have them downsized. Link down to his last stock. And no damage done there. Zelda took a lot, though. Zelda down to her last stock. Now everybody has one stock left. And there goes Roy and Link. Roy got knocked out. Link self-destructed. So now it's a one-on-one between Ludwig and Zelda. And Ludwig, who was in the best shape for almost the whole match, he might actually lose this. But you never know in these tournaments. Zelda's got a gun. Oopsie. And that's it. Zelda wins it for the Heroes of Hyrule, who will be taking on the distant relatives in the Elite Eight. Congratulations. And to the Music Men, thank you for playing. And I'm sorry you will not be moving on past this round. Alright, so the next match we have the Koopa Twins versus PSI Power. And they'll be duking it out after this short break. So, with the Music Men gone, that leaves the Koopa Twins as the last remaining Koopaling team, and also the last card team, because everyone else is figures. In case you aren't familiar, I created custom cards using chips that I bought on eBay, and also card sleeves, as well as some photo paper that my mom let me borrow. And before you ask, no, I am not selling them. That would be illegal. And I'm not a pirate. And unlike Nixon, I am not a crook. Wow, Ness is out already. You'd think that these guys would have home field advantage because of the stage. Is Lucas even going to trade stock? There he goes. Also, I think this is the second time we've had this stage in the tournament. I set it to random stages, but I turned a bunch of them off because either they were moving stages or they had gimmicks that I didn't think were safe for the Amiibo. Or I just thought that they were terribly designed. I also turned off the big stages because when you fight on those big stages, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be a long match. And I didn't want any long matches in this one. I just wanted them to be quick and simple, like a flu shot. Oh my god! The Koopa Twins are absolutely pummeling the PSI Power. One Smash Ball could do it for them. And Lemmy loses his first stock. I don't know what the hell happened there. I'm just looking at my hard drives right now. Ness is gone. It is all up to Lucas. Man, you would really think that PSI Power would have an advantage here. But no, it is far from the case. Lucas in his last legs. Meanwhile, the Koopa twins look pretty, it looks sharp as a tack. Lucas in big trouble. They keep smacking him against the side of the building. Man, Lucas holding on strong for his teammate. Uh-oh, 2 Smash Balls in the air. One of them's fake. And that is it. The Koopa twins take out the PSI Power. Wow, who could have seen that coming? The Koopa twins will be moving on to the Elite 8, and PSI Power, despite having the stage advantage, it wasn't really a stage advantage at all. They will be going home. Actually, they'll be staying home, because that's where the last match was. Okay, so, congratulations to the Koopa twins. PSI Power, thank you for playing. Alright, next up we have the Bad Bros taking on We Two Kings right after this break. Alright, after this match, you will be halfway through. This one is between the Bad Bros and We Two Kings. If I remember correctly, neither one of these guys made it very far last year. In fact, every single team from the Final Four is gone now, so... from last year's Final Four, I mean. Unless you don't include the Space Crusaders, who split up and went to other teams. That would be interesting, though, to see those 2 teams in the Elite 8. Because those 2 teams that branched off have the opportunity to meet up in the Elite 8. That would be very, very interesting. It would be very, very interesting. Realize this is Delfino Plaza. Sorry, I had to I had to break away for a second so I could look at the hard drives again. King K. Rool. With the final smash, takes out WarioWare. He loses his first stock. Oh! Wario falls victim to the wind machine. Ugh. Excuse me. Just yawned. King K. Rool down to his last stock as well. But Wario, the Mario series Wario, is in arguably worse shape. And now King DDD down to his last stock. This is turning out to be a close one. Looks like we got another close matchup here. Only thing is, who's gonna win? King K. Rool gets knocked out, and now King DDD is all by himself against the two bad bros. And Shadow just falls off. Lauren would not be happy about that. Hi, baby, if you're watching. And that is it. We two kings, after putting on a king-sized blowout in the last round, get knocked out at the hands of the Bad Bros, who I just remembered actually won the first organized doubles tournament we did before it was called the September Spectacular. And the Bad Bros will be moving on to take on the Koopa Twins in the Elite Eight. And for our next match, we're gonna be seeing the Pokemon Pals and Paint the Town. All right, next up we have Pokemon Pals versus Paint the Town. And after that match, we are officially halfway done with the Sweet 16. As I said before, actually, I don't think I said this before. Each round, the competition is going to get smaller and smaller, which means the amount of matches is also going to get smaller and smaller. So, for instance, in the words of Tim Allen, I'll give you a big fat for instance. So, in the last round, there were 16 matches. In this one, there are only 8 matches. I know this is the third consecutive video where I've done 8 matches, but that's because I split the round of 32 into 2 videos because it was so big. That's usually what I do with March Madness anyway. I usually split the first round into 2 videos. I can still remember my sister Stephanie, who has been in a few of my videos, telling me, how are you going to keep audiences entertained for an hour? Pikachu gets the Smash Ball as Inkling Girl gets knocked out. Pikachu does it off the stage. And Scizor, for some reason, the Pokemon is not pals with these two. Well, then again, I guess a lot of Pokemon are naturally enemies, because all you do in the Pokemon games is battle. That's really all you do. Except maybe bonding with your Pokemon and feeding them and giving them potions and shit. Oh! Pikachu gets taken out by the mosquito. Or actually, I think that was a hummingbird. I don't have any freaking idea. My God. We got another close one, and looks like we got another close one on our hands. Inkling Girl down to her last stock as well. The Paint the Town is one of two Splatoon teams, the other one being Squid Kids, who got eliminated in the last video. My God, this melody is so contagious. But it also brings back memories of that skiing level in Yoshi's Island. You probably know which one I'm talking about. I did 2 Yoshi games on this channel. And Yoshi's Island, though I did have fun with it, it was really, really complicated. It was just as hard, if not harder, than I expected it to be. Pikachu is out. Jigglypuff is all on her own. And now Inkling Boy is on his own. It's going to be a one-on-one. Let's see who is going to take it. The Pokemon Pals will be going to the Elite Eight. And just like that, both Splatoon teams are gone. I'm sorry, Paint the Town. It's time for you to paint the town somewhere else. Thank you for playing. The Pokemon Pals, who are one of 2 play-in winners, move on to the Elite Eight. That's one thing I've noticed in all my tournaments, except the most recent March Madness tournament, is that the guys who win the play-in rounds tend to go pretty far. That was the case in my first 2 March Madness tournaments. The Amiibos, who did not get buys, ended up being the champions. That was Link and Jigglypuff, who will be moving on. Anyways, that's enough of that. I'm done rambling now. Next match is going to be between the Twin Princesses and the Space Girls. Alright. Space Girls and Twin Princesses. Doesn't get any better than this. The winner of this will be moving on to take the Pokemon Pals in the Elite Eight. I forget what I was talking about in the last match. I know it was something special. Hold on. I'm gonna remember in a minute, and it usually happens like I remember after the recording is done. Like I'll remember something I was talking about before that. Looks like we've got Andros. Uncle Andros! Daisy falls right away. Oh, Peach almost did the same thing. Why do they keep using their parasols? They know that one sucks. They know that that move sucks. Why are they still using it? There's the smash ball. And Rosalina uses it. Peach gets blown to smithereens. And here come the cars. Oh. That one just goes backwards. Man, there are a lot of hazards on this stage. But then again, that's why I love it, because so many crazy things happen. It's amazing what you can do with drawings. Looks like we got pipes here. Wait, can you actually go down those pipes? I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can actually use those pipes. I don't know if they, like, warp around or anything. Whoa, God. Got Nino Kuni. At least I think that's Nino Kuni. Donkey Kong! Here come the barrels. This reminds me of that new Mario Kart World course. Whoa! Rosalina! Just went around like a pinball machine. I'm pretty sure this is still anybody's game, even though the Space Girls have a combined stock count of 4, while Peach and Daisy are down to their last stocks. Oh, God! I gotta stretch. This could be anybody's match here. Looks like there's a highway. A winding highway. There's Daisy. Daisy's gone. And so is Peach. The Space Girls show their dominance and move on to face the Pokemon pals in the next round. They'll be taking on the Pokemon pals in the Elite Eight. I'm sorry, Twin Princesses. It's time for you to go. Alright, the Space Girls will be moving on. This is the furthest they have made in a tournament. And they'll be taking on the Pokemon pals. Alright, it's time for our next match between the Honeymooners and Toys in the Attic. I finally remembered what I was talking about a few matches ago. Of course, as I said, it happened as soon as I stopped recording. So, I was talking about my 2 Yoshi Let's Plays. Yoshi's Island, although it was fun at the beginning, it started to get really hard towards the end. And I didn't really... I honestly couldn't wait for that game to end. So, after Yoshi's Island wrapped, a few years went by and I decided maybe I should try another Yoshi game. And that game was Yoshi's Crafted World for the Nintendo Switch. I thought I would have a better time. I thought I would still have a fun time with Yoshi's Crafted World. Wrong! That is easily my least favorite LP that I've done in the history of this channel. Because I thought I would have fun with Yoshi's Crafted World, but I was not happy during that Let's Play. And it especially didn't help that there was a lot going on behind the scenes. My grandmother got really sick, and then she went into hospice, and then she passed away. And all of that happened during the recording of Yoshi's Crafted World. And also, not to mention the fact that the game was kind of sort of boring. Just a little bit. And some of the levels were kind of too difficult for my liking. Uh-oh. Down goes Wedding Peach. So yeah, that's my history with Yoshi games. And after that, I decided I'd never do a Yoshi game again. Because I had kind of a mediocre experience with Yoshi's Island, and then a pretty bad experience with Yoshi's Crafted World. And then after that, I was going to do Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U. And after how bad of a time I had with Yoshi's Crafted World, I just said, nope, I'm not doing that. I immediately scratched it out of my catalog. But then my next Let's Play after Yoshi's Crafted World was Luigi's Mansion 3, which I considered to be a much better Let's Play and definitely a return to form. In fact, those are two of my favorite Let's Plays. New Super Mario Bros. Wii and New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Luigi's Mansion 3 are probably my two favorites of all the Let's Plays I've done. I also really loved this one that I'm doing. I've already finished recording it, Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. As of the time this is being recorded, I've already finished recording the whole series. And in fact, I've already started recording the next Let's Play, which I'll be revealing later. And while I was rambling, we've had some really interesting results here. Wedding Mario is down, the Toy Link is down, and now we have a one-on-one. I wonder who's going to win this. This is very close. Oopsie. Oh, Wedding Peach almost died there. Peach has got a lot of damage. Whoop. Olimar cannot make it! Wow, what an upset! The Honeymooners move on! What was Olimar thinking there? He self-destructs, costing his team the win. Oh my god, I'm just blown away by that. And Wedding Peach had a lot more damage. So Olimar could have easily just gotten her with a good smash. I just realized what I said there. The Honeymooners will be moving on to the Elite Eight. And unfortunately for Toys in the Attic, their road ends here. So the rookies, so the two rookies teams will not be facing each other in the Elite Eight. But that's okay. Toys in the Attic, thank you for playing. Alright, so now we are on to the final match of the Sweet 16 and the final match of the night. For the next one, we are going to be seeing the Wedding Crashers and Star Fox. Alright guys, on to the final match of the night. And the final round, or not the final round, final match of the Sweet 16. And we truly have a heroes versus villain match. It's the Wedding Crashers, featuring the Wedding Bowser and Wolf, taking on Team Star Fox, with Fox and Falco. I thought the door was shut, is it not? Oh, there's something going on in the bathroom. I think my dad's getting in the shower. The bathroom is right behind me, so I can hear a lot of things that go on in there. Usually it's either the sink running, or the tub, or the toilet. Yep, he's definitely in the shower. I'm sorry if you hear that. This is what happens when you build a studio right behind the bathroom. Whoa! I think this is where we had the last match of the last round, too. I'm not sure. Everybody's down to their second stocks now. Oh, there's a landmine. Did it already go off? I'm pretty sure it already went off. Fox is down to his last stock now. Man, this song reminds me of Ragdoll by Aerosmith. Daddy's a little cutie. Fox is gone, but Falco has an extra stock. He hands it over and gets knocked out immediately after. This is not looking good for Star Fox. Looks like the Wedding Crashers will definitely be moving on to the Elite Eight. Man, this is probably the furthest Wolf has made it in a tournament in a long time. In the March Madness tournament, he made it to, in 2023's March Madness, he made it all the way to the Final Four. But don't count out Wedding Bowser. This is his first major tournament. In fact, this is his first tournament he's competing in, period. And he's definitely made his presence known. Alright, so that is going to do it for the Sweet 16. All of the matches have been decided, and now let's head down to the floor and take a little sneak preview at the next round, the Elite Eight. Alrighty guys, the Sweet 16 is officially in the books. Here are your 8 remaining Amiibo who will be moving on to the Elite 8, which will be taking place tomorrow night. Congratulations to the 8 winners, the 8 winning teams who will be moving on, and to the 8 teams who did not qualify, thank you for playing. You fought valiantly. Alrighty guys, so I'll see you all tomorrow for the Elite 8 of the 2025 September Spectacular Double Trouble Amiibo Tournament. Goodbye everybody, thank you for watching.